Hello, happy lunar eclipse. It has been a day. I wanted to check in and talk about the eclipse, what's going on, and also the days following and weeks following. Not really gonna have that eventful of a fit check because I've worn this a million times, but I didn't want the emotional labor of wearing something that was an aesthetic risk or something that was really gonna take up a lot of energy. Let me see where to put this camera today because I am still in the situation where I have no furniture besides a mattress on the ground and bar stool, which is fine. We can make do. We'll do this with a nice little view behind me. I should have just filmed my forecast here, like on my bed. You wouldn't have known the difference. Anyway, today is the eclipse. The eclipse did go exact at 6 a.m. Eastern, which means that you were likely either asleep or recently woken up when it was exact. But the eclipse is so impactful that it's not like only that exact moment is relevant, obviously. You know, the day following, the day before, the hours after are really gonna be the go, go, go time of intensity as well. And this was in the sign of Taurus, which deals with fixed earth. Things like money, finance, the literal ground, and where we are physically in the world. And pretty clearly, we're natural disasters. That's something that is pretty textbook. I mean, if it's a lunar eclipse in Taurus conjunct Uranus, it's going to scream disruptive natural disasters, and there was apparently a pretty substantial earthquake in Delhi. It spanned across India, as well as a hurricane approaching Florida, from what I understand. So that definitely played out pretty according to plan. And the other part of disruptive finances is an incredibly interesting one, which is the fact that Binance is acquiring FTX. So you can look into it if you would like to know the specifics. I won't really get into it because I know a lot of my viewers are not necessarily crypto native, but FTX and Binance seem to be, from what I understand, the two largest crypto exchanges. Binance by far being the largest, and FTX, I would say, having a lot of the user base across US in particular, or US based users who are using VPNs to seem like they're in other parts of the world. But FTX and Binance definitely are the two most widely used and respected exchanges, I would say. And FTX, and from what seems like their balance sheet, was not fully solvent or was not doing well, and therefore Binance is coming in to help out and is acquiring FTX. I don't believe this has anything to do with Alameda Ventures, although obviously one can speculate the entire way that would be tied into this, but that's not really what's happening with the acquisition. So Binance acquiring FTX is like if you imagine Chevy and Ford had to buy Chevy because Chevy's balance sheet was not healthy, so Ford had to come in and buy them. Like, it's that level of intensity for the crypto space. So because of that, that is beyond disruptive, and one could say that's only a small thing going on. This was an entire eclipse. No, I would argue that in the largest emerging asset class, like record growth asset class, this is like beyond huge. Like, this is very disruptive. And the interesting thing is that this eclipse cycle began in April, May of last year. There's a 2-week cycle. We then have a 6-month break. 2-week cycle of the same sign of Taurus and Scorpio eclipses. So the story that began in April, May of last year is now getting reactivated. What was that story April, May of last year? Terra Luna and Celsius going under, spreading contagion and panic in the market. What is now happening? In like another level of contagion, panic, uncertainty about what this means, because if it ends up that FTX and Alameda, there's more issues than it seems, then there's even more deep shit because it's like, oh my God, all these user funds do not have backing. This is really bad. I think that the main lesson of this that CZ has tweeted about, CZ's the founder of Binance, really cool guy. I have an interview with him up on my channel somewhere. CZ talked about how, like, as a founder, do not ever use user funds to fucking trade the treasury. And I think that that's been cool for me to see because as a founder who is holding, I mean, not now user funds at all, but I have investor funds in the treasury. Like, I would never use that on some like risky, like, it does not matter how many or how large that, like, that's not my no. So that was just a good way to see someone that I look up to a lot saying things like, it does not matter. Like, you do not go into debt, you do not leverage user funds without running a fund. That's then what that's for, is running a fund is when you do that, when you disclose and everything. So that was incredibly disruptive. And if you're not in crypto, I would actually recommend following this story because it's very interesting. And just like waking up and seeing that was like, whoa, okay. The other thing obviously happening today is the US elections, the midterm elections. And because of the nature of elections, I do not think we will hear about the massive disruption until a day, 2, 3, and like the week following, because it's pretty clear that if there's an eclipse happening with this degree of insanity and chaos, we're going to see that playing out on one of the most major events for one of the most major, if not the most major country in the world. I'm not even trying to be US centrism. Let's just fucking be honest. Like, a US election is going to apply to the astrology of the day more than some fucking, I don't even know, random island in the Pacific election. You know what I mean? So that's not American exceptionalism. That is what's the most relevant right now. Miss me if you're gonna come. You're probably someone in Brooklyn if you're even coming for me for that. I couldn't make a single video without being politically incorrect, but you know what I mean. Anyway, having an eclipse, and that's actually a good point, is that people are like, why is this only applying to the US? It's not. It's just that I happen to live in the US, and if there's going to be a country it applies to, it's going to be like US, China, Russia, etc. Like, those are the major players really dictated by the major world astrology. It's not going to be some like random ass, I mean, you're probably great, but like, I don't know, like Luxembourg, you know, you're probably great and lovely if I have any viewers there. I picked a country specifically, and I don't know if I have like any substantial viewers there. Maybe say hi if you are. It's going to be more representative of the general astrology. Anyway, I think that this eclipse happening on an election, lunar eclipses are full moons. Full moons bring things to light. There will be something brought to light. Since this lunar eclipse is conjunct Uranus, I would say something electronic or digital or information-wise disrupted. I know that there was some headline going around Russian KGB officer literally saying we are interfering, but obviously I don't know if there's any gravity weight to that. That could have literally just been a stock photo of a random European guy and then a quote. Like, who knows? I don't believe any of this shit, or no. But I think that it does a good genius, and also the astrology corroborates the fact that there's likely going to be interference on a digital or cyber level that I think could be massively disruptive and pose serious issue. But like I said, because of the nature of elections, I'm not too surprised that there's nothing coming out like literally on the dot 6 a.m. election time that does refer to this or is super substantial. But I would say that there's likely a substantial amount of interference or issues. I don't know to the degree that these issues are like voter intimidation. I hear a lot about that, and I've never seen, maybe I'm wrong. I hear a lot about that from people who are concerned about it, and then I haven't really seen that, and I've looked at, like, you can let me know if there's actually a substantial amount of voter interference, but I'm always kind of like, okay, like, I haven't heard any specific example. But if that's happening, then that's sad. I'm sorry about that if you were intimidated as a voter. Sorry, I should be serious about this. Yeah, so I mean, even walking around New York today, I saw some lines, but I didn't see anything too substantial. But I think that that's because a lot of people do vote like early absentee, etc. It's fairly normal here. Almost everyone I know always votes early or votes, absentee if they need to. If, like me, like I don't have my address registered for here right now, so I didn't have to vote today because I already did. So because of that, I think that the disruption will likely come out later about what was going on today. It will not necessarily be today itself, but I would say that it looks like disruption. And like I've said, I have not looked at the astrology of the Democratic Party because it's a disputed chart. I can look at the GOP chart, honestly, in like a few minutes, but I would lean more towards there being some type of split government because of the Saturn-Uranus square, which shows tensions ongoing between progressivism and conservatism. So I do foresee that more in a logical standpoint, but it's nothing that I will announce to formally because it's not a prediction I hold firm. I think that this is more of a thing of indicative of interference on a cyber level that is extremely disruptive. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and call me out to the same degree that you call me out for getting it right for disruption in the crypto community. You know what I mean? Like, call me out on both sides. I am not wholly right, wholly wrong. It's just bullshit to say I'm always right, always wrong. You know what I mean? Just like I'm a real person. Neither. So the major thing that is coming up after this is that we do have Scorpio season with a little bit of some chaotic astrology, squares to Saturn, oppositions to Uranus over the next few days, but nothing that is new or out of the ordinary. And then getting into the last week of November, we have a lot of planets moving into Sagittarius, and the tone for the end of the year is much more chill. It is, dare I say, boring. If you're a Sagittarius or a Capricorn, you will have more action going on for you because there will be substantial movement in those signs, but nothing that is this level of chaotic or difficult or obscure. Taurus and Scorpios, you fucking got through it. You fucking did it. And now you get a little bit of a break before eclipse season next, April, May. Nothing to this level, honestly. It's a little bit different. It's more growth oriented, even though it's still disruptive. But you do not go through this again. I mean, you have a few days of lingering eclipse hangover, you could say, but nothing to the degree of concern or of intensity. I mean, you probably are familiar with the breakthrough that you had under this Taurus eclipse. For me, the breakthrough was literally like, did I make enough content talking about this breakthrough? And like this, like, nah. And I've said this before, but like, I dead ass think I'm gonna start a long form podcast, but before it was gonna be kind of like fear based. Like, oh no, I don't wanna be bad content creator. Like, I should create a long form podcast. Now I'm like, I wanna get the weirdest, coolest people, like public figures that I know, sit them down with me to talk in-person astrology and just be politically incorrect. Like, I don't give a shit. And I was dropped from some contracts, deals, etc. because it was like, I will not be politically correct. I will not be silenced. I will not bring on your like, oh, like healing in the modern world, slowing down, connecting with the divine feminine. I don't give a shit. But I think talking with the cool people that I know and that I like to talk with would be awesome. I just have to get it high production enough, because that would be the reason why I might want to work with someone, but whatever. I have like management help now, so I'm getting assistance in that vein. Sorry, it couldn't be a Maren video without going off topic in speaking about, it's my life. Like, some people are like, the majority of people, like myself, I watch creators who they might be informative, but I want to know about their fucking life. I like to know about them, the personality, the person. That's why I feel comfortable like adding tidbits about my own life in here, because for one, it's a real life chart example, so like we can learn from it. And two, I fucking like looking at vloggers and creators that share about themselves. So if you're not one of those people, then we can't relate. Maybe you just go and you watch like anonymous voiceovers on chalkboard equations. You're probably very boring. But I think that this eclipse is definitely the high point of intensity. There's like nothing to this level like this year left. It's much more chill. Dare I say boring. So yes, we do have early next year some things that do indicate the pace picking up. I have filmed all the 2023 forecasts, so those will be coming out by the end of the year. My editor has a lot to work with, so please don't ask me when they're coming out. She's doing her best. This is like 45 minutes of footage assigned, having to add graphics, editing, like it's a lot. But we will be getting those out by the end of the year, and I will be doing Vlogmas. I will be editing that myself because I cannot give my editor anything else. So I'm gonna be editing a fucking video a day. I don't even like editing, but like I'm not outsourcing this. I'm not depending on anyone. I have to do it, bitch. Virgo Capricornizing me is like, I have to do it. It has to be me. There's no one else who's the chosen one. Like, yeah, whatever. But we got through it, and that's all I have to say. I'm gonna go head out. I'm going to my friend. If you guys know Pauly Shore, he's a friend, and I'm going to his show in Manhattan tonight. So we had a show yesterday, going to a show today, and yeah, we're gonna be, I will be going to see that. So this is my outfit. I've worn this a bazillion times, but like I said, I don't have the wherewithal to wear a risky or an aesthetic new outfit today, so this is an old classic. I literally bought a whole new closet with the Dolls Kill store credit I have, and yet I'm still wearing like an old outfit basically. So this is the IMGA like tank top, and then this, what am I saying, this? I'm not even wearing a necklace. I thought I was wearing a choker. I'm not gonna wear it with this. This is just this, and then if I like stand up so you can see, this is actually a good stand up place. I need a place in my apartment that I can like stand up. It's just this, and like I tie it, and I'll wear a big red coat with it, but I don't even have shoes on, so I can't even show the shoes, but this is incredibly comfy. It's not stretchy, but it's very comfy, and that's that. So I'm gonna get this video up and head out. Hope you all had a lovely eclipse. If you want to share down below anything that happened for you under this eclipse, feel free. For me, what happened under this eclipse is me predicting chaos, ending up in my timeline being chaos when there's crypto chaos. Yes. I need to do the camera thing.